No public comment? Good. Moving right along. Want to approve the agenda. I'd like to make a modification to the agenda. I want to move the roads report up to the beginning. I'd like to put it underneath the treasurer. After that, I would like to do the elections. Anybody have any, well, we have a motion to accept the agenda as I have modified it. We have a motion to accept.
Motion to accept, Mike.
I'll second.
Seconded by Dawn. Any discussion on making those moves? All in favor, yes?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Agenda's set. Okay, we are on to the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Don Hall, make that motion to accept the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Bruce LaFont, discussion on problems with the minutes or accepting it as is.
Accept them as is.
Hearing no changes to the minutes, voice vote is good enough here. All those in favor of accepting it, say yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Go ahead, Gail.
Just now that they've been approved, there are extras over there on the table, so if you want a copy when you go out.
Okay, officers report, start with me first. Again, I want to thank you all. We didn't have any choice on this. At the last minute, we had to move the meeting, so I'm sorry about that. Thank you for showing up. The only thing is I know we had an issue the last time with the fireworks on the grounds here. If it happens again, and I'm not gonna belabor the issue, you've gotta be cognizant of the people around here. Just, safety, and if it happens again, please, they've been doing them out at the island. There was almost a problem the last time, so I asked caution, and other than that, I wanna thank everybody for getting together the way we've had to get together to put things partially in order, because the roads still need to be taken care of, the grounds need to be maintained, even though there's a stay home, stay safe, or whatever the heck's going on now. This stuff just needs to be done, and I'm sorry for the way we've had to do it. It was just necessary. And I appreciate everybody's patience. Hopefully we don't have to go through this again. And the reason I moved this meeting up is to get us back on schedule so we can make the September meeting the way it's supposed to be. And hopefully after the election, all this nonsense comes to an end and we don't have to do it again. And with that, I'm ending my report. Madam Secretary, you are next.
Okay, again, I was gonna say thank you for everybody understanding and keeping an eye on the bulletin board and everything in the newsletter to kind of tell you to keep track of where things might be. We'll continue to do that as much as we can, and let's hope, as Gary said, things are gonna be straightened out here shortly. The next meetings, normally we would have set those meetings up for the year at our general membership meeting that should have been in May, which is the meeting today now. So after this meeting, the budget meeting will happen, and then the rest of the dates for the next year will go into place. And as soon as we get those, when the next newsletter goes out, we'll post it. And I'll also get it posted up on the bulletin boards in both places. Melinda had a great suggestion about adding email addresses to a list, so that when we have things like this come up, that we can email out. We tried to do something like that a few years back, and a lot of people didn't have internet, and older people and whatnot. But I think we're getting a group now that is starting to, have more email availability and use and whatnot. So I think what we're gonna do is have, and I was gonna talk to Sherry about it, see if we can, get that added to our roster and keep that track with the secretary, since the secretary already, I'm not sorry, the treasurer is responsible for keeping all the addresses and the roster up to date. So if you wanna leave, Jamie, I think was getting some.
I've got a list here if you wanna leave your email.
Yeah, and any new member that's coming in that we get notified about, we have been asking already for this last year and a half or so for their email addresses too, so we'll try to get that started and get that shot out there.
If you don't mind me interrupting you
Yeah.
just for a quick second, if nothing else, at least leave a phone number where you could be currently contacted if you don't have an email, because we do need to be able to get a hold of people.
Always, I mean, the biggest deal is, and it's been for years, make sure you look at the boards. I hope nobody had to go down to the, township hall, but there's a notice up down there, just in case. Today's my last day as secretary. I wanna thank everybody for, all the years of support and help and whatnot. I've really enjoyed doing this position, but I think after 10 years, it's time now for, some new blood to come in, so. I'm gonna ask you to, when the new persons or person takes over, that you support them just as well as you've supported me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gail. Okay, Sherry, you're next, treasurer.
Okay, alrighty, so, we're doing good with collecting the most recent dues. We've got 56 delinquent parcel owners. We've got, we have, as you know, we took 5 parcel owners to court. Out of those 5, we have 1 court date in August for an owner that couldn't be served up until recently. I filed yesterday a civil discovery on 1 to get some more information on them, because we're gonna take the next step, since we got a judgment on them, and after 21 days, we still got no payment. 2 were paid in full, and 1 has confirmed with me that she has 2 parcels, 1 sold, and is going to pay them both up. I have to contact her when I get back home, so that payment should be very close. I've got 5 more in line to go to court. Probably in the next few weeks, I'll get that paperwork together and we'll take those next 5. And
The ones that are color coordinated, those are the ones you took.
yeah, the ones that are highlighted in yellow, 13 and 14 is the property where one of them sold. And after closing is when I'm gonna get the money for both of those. 50B is the one we've got a court date on in August, and 28 is the civil discovery subpoena that we just filed yesterday.
Thank you.
The civil discovery subpoena, we just need more information from them. And that's it.
Okay,
And I just,
you've got your,
I-
budget.
yeah, I just need a motion to accept the financials that I gave you all.
Motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Linda made that motion.
Yeah.
You wanna second that?
I second it.
And they'll be right here on the table until,
Linda first.
And,
and I'll
Randy
put them
second.
over right here. I'll keep them here.
Okay, I have a motion to accept the financials in a second. This is a point for discussion. Anybody got anything that they want to comment or say on it? Hearing none, roll call please.
John Hall, yes.
Sherry?
Sherry?
Sherry, yes.
Melinda, yes.
Linda, yes. Randy?
No, not really.
Yes.
Mike, yes.
Yes.
Doug, yes.
Doug, yes.
Bruce, yes.
Bruce, yes. So there's just one no vote. Okay, now I'm going with the modification here, roads gone.
Yes, I've had some very, very major health 7 weeks. So Glenn has been graciously enough to help me out. We have been doing the road work, however, I haven't gotten the bills in just as yet. Right now, to date, I owe $3,405, and that would be the total of what I owe up to, from June 1 to now. Which isn't out of the realm, because he usually likes his bills every 3 to 4 months.
Did you need a motion to pay that, Dawn, or not?
No, because once the bills come to me, then I'll have to get 2 board member signatures, and,
I'm just checking.
yeah. I do have a couple big projects coming up, and they will be done as soon as I get a little better.
Okay. Anything else, or is that the end of your? Okay, the next thing we have on the agenda is the elections. Has everybody checked in with Jamie? I noticed you walked in. Okay, you got your ballot comes with it. All right, having said that, we have, how many, open slots have we got? Please?
We've got 5 available slots, 3 are rerunning, so, I guess I can't remember, did we do a nomination?
Yeah, this is a point for nomination, so anybody interested in serving on the board?
Whose positions are up for election?
You need to explain.
Trustee, well, it's board member, and then we assign the committees later.
I understand that, but what board members are up for election?
You have a ballot?
Okay, so we've got 2 that are not running again.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
Jamie, tell them why there's 4 and 1.
Okay, so, hold on just a second. At the last meeting, Paul Kahn had stepped down, so we are electing a position for 1 year only. They'll be reelected next year. And then there's the 4 board positions that are normally elected this year. So we do have 5. That's why we have 5 this year.
Okay,
sorry, she knows more.
that explained it, I was kinda curious.
Yes,
How do you, when we're voting, how are we gonna know which one is the 2-year position versus the 1-year position?
We'll decide that afterwards when the board appoints people at
Gotcha.
that point.
Okay,
Correct? Am I correct in that?
We don't have it happen very often, so.
Yeah.
well, I guess we could,
Right.
go ahead, Roy.
It goes by the number of ballots that were cast and the lowest.
And the
ballot.
lowest one, that's what I was
Okay,
thinking, yeah.
okay.
The lowest one
That
will,
makes sense.
yeah. Okay, so at this point, I am going to open the floor for nominations.
Don Hall, I would like to nominate Phil Boyda.
Is Phil here?
Yes.
Phil, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Can you spell your last name for me?
Can you spell your last name, Phil?
B as in boy, O, J, D as in David, A.
Okay, yes,
I nominate Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
Do you accept
Yep,
Dan?
Dan.
Yes.
Who's Dan?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Jonathan Gill.
Ma'am, what's your name?
Butts.
What's?
Michelle.
Jonathan, do you accept?
Yep.
I'd like to nominate Andy Sims.
Andy Sims, do you accept?
Yes.
Glenn.
I'd like to nominate Randy Brown.
He's on
Oh, he's
there.
on
there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yep,
I didn't get it that way.
Your wife's got it.
She got it, man.
Who's the second one?
Todd, you want to,
Who's Dan? Dan? Oh,
What are you doing with Todd?
Yep.
Todd Childs?
Who nominated?
I am.
Spelled just like it.
Yep.
I I'm actually writing the names, so I'm gonna put it up so everybody can see.
Well, we
Any
got
other
all the
nominations?
slots filled in, anybody else? This will be a non-slot.
A non-slip.
Okay, at this point, I guess I'm gonna close the nominations if nobody else is interested, and, everybody votes.
How about they get up and talk a little bit, say a little bit?
Does anybody,
Alright.
anybody want to, say anything as to why they wanna run on the board?
Like how long you've lived here, what your lot number?
Phil?
Yeah, I've owned property here for 27 years. I'm a permanent resident for 11 years. And I truly enjoy Lakes of the Green. I truly enjoy all the good people that's been here. We've had a lot of fun, a lot of recreation, and I want to support our community. Thank you.
Anybody else?
All right, with that, we're closing everything, vote, and, how do you want the ballots collected?
We'll walk around and collect them when you're ready, just hold it up for us, give us just a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hand them over to Dawn. Just one grab. I'll save you from having to walk. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jerry.
Do we have everybody's ballots?
Anybody still have a ballot? Doesn't count unless you mail it in.
Vote early, vote often.
I'm fine on it.
These are the ones that we're adding.
That's good. I'm going
Just got one more person to finish up. After that, what I'm gonna do is while they're tallying the votes, we'll go on with the rest of the committee reports. Gail, I guess that brings you up again.
Okay, let's see, bylaws? Yeah,
Bylaws.
bylaws. bylaws. Since 2011, we have not had any written complaints for Lakes in the Green to have to address, injurious conduct, code of conduct, et cetera, related to the bylaws, which is Article 10. Right now, we have, I think, 11 or 12 written complaints from a small group of people. And so it brings it to now that portion of the bylaw needs to be addressed as far as following through with the process. And at the last board meeting, we discussed that when that article was first written back in, I think it was 2011, right, John? Yeah,
Something like that.
2011, I think I looked back at it. The verbiage was there as far as what to do, how, stated what the bylaw required the component to be, but there was not a process written on how to really follow it. And I know John, when he was vice president back then, attempted, when we had one written complaint back then, to start to follow that process. It was really difficult because of trying to get random board members, which there have to be 2 onto the committee, et cetera, et cetera. So the board, last meetings, hashed out a process, and several people were there, about how to actually put that into place, okay? And we will get that into place today at the budget meeting, as far as getting it set up, because per the vote board last week, it's gonna be done on, the committees are gonna be set up on an annual basis. And the people are gonna be drawn and whatnot. Biggest thing I want the membership to know is there's going to be a randomized, spreadsheet type, per lot numbers, et cetera, of members, not the board, but regular members, for when we have these issues that are going to be contacted, and they're gonna start going down that randomized, and ask you to participate, because two people of the membership need to be part of those committees.
In good standing.
In good standing, right, in good
Sorry.
standing. So when you get called, it's important, you wanted things to be done and whatnot in your community, please try to participate. I know it was very, very difficult way back in the past to get anybody to participate. But if you want your say, and you want things to go how you want them to go and whatnot, participate in that committee if you're called. If you're called and you decline, that's okay, you can do that if you got issues, that's fine. It'll go on to the next person on the randomized list, okay? And the other thing that we discussed was that I know it's very difficult for people sometimes to get to a meeting, especially like in the wintertime or something like that, so it was put into that process that we prefer that everybody be here for that, whatever meeting is set by the person directing that committee. But if not, we're in the digital age, we can do things like Zoom or something like that if a person had to do that and that allowed them to participate. So, think about that, okay?
Hey Dale, I'm sorry, one quick thing I wanted to add, I forgot to, I would like a motion to excuse Roger Dampus from being at this meeting, because unfortunately, he would have been here, but the border is shut down, so can I get a motion for that? I'm sorry.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Who seconded it? All those in favor of excusing Roger from this meeting, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? I'm sorry, Gail,
It's no
I just,
problem.
when you brought that up, I thought, wait a minute, because we have a rule in the bylaw, if you miss 2 meetings, you're off the board,
Unexcused meeting.
unexcused, and this is a good excuse,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
John, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just going on record, you can add me to that random list.
It'll be whoever comes up, it's gonna go, it'll
That's
get to
fine.
the computer and go spin.
No need to even call me, just go ahead and put me on the list.
No, it's not how the process was set
I
up.
mean though, as far as being put on the random list.
Oh, we're putting everybody, it's just gonna
Okay.
be everybody in the membership.
Everybody in good standing, that's what
Everybody in the membership.
Sorry, these aren't for discussion, this is just a committee reports, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So let's see, the complaints that we have are, Gary has them, right now, and they're all set and ready to go, and will be, once the committee is set up, those complaints will go to the director of that investigative committee, and then they go ahead and they'll get that committee start to get set up and do the process. So at least we've got a procedure now in place, and it's gonna make it function a little bit better. Yep, oh, yeah, it's not
I have a
discussion.
question for the floor.
Are you taking questions?
Can we take any questions?
I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
sorry.
Other than that, I think that's all I have there. I am gonna again step down from bylaws committee after 10, 11 years now, and, I know we have some other people that might be interested in taking that position. So if you are, stay after the meeting for the budget meeting. Thank you.
Okay, Glenn, Citizens Watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd like to say, since my last report, of course I didn't give one, I gave one at the last meeting, but, things have been really good in here, they really have. Neighbors are watching out for each other. I got a call, last month that, there was a residence and, the storm door was closed, glass, and the main door was open, and there was nobody there, so I went up. I have no permission to be on that property, I have to have a permission slip. So I got a hold of the owner, and, he told me, yes, go in and check the place out, see if anything was wrong. Nothing was wrong. I guess it was his kids came up and never closed the door when they left, so. And that, they had two break-ins, and they're getting pretty smart. The one, talking to the owner, is, he was up deer season, and, after deer season, he left and he didn't come back till May, and that's when it was found. But they're breaking in, and you would never know it. Everybody passes that house every day. You would never know it was broken into. And then we had another one on Woodvale. This was on Lakeside, and then we had one on Woodvale. I know I went through it just before, and I know Mike and Jamie went through it the next day or the day before, yeah. And then all of a sudden there was a break-in there. And, but that's the only two we've had, and like I say, the citizens are stepping right up, You see something out of order, yeah.
Have they made anything of value they're taking?
Yeah,
I'm
there's
not opening-
$3,000 worth of value.
These are just committee reports, so there's no discussion. And one of the best securities is to have a yard light out there, I tell everybody, it does make a difference, so. But, things have been good, I can remember years back, we had break-in after break-in after break-in. And, we solved a few of them, but you know how that is, very few. But, so if you see something going on, you know the neighbor, ask, and he's not there, give him a buzz and see, is anybody in your family supposed to be up here? But, or if you're close to the neighbor, you can go over there and talk to the people, you know the neighbor's name and everything, and, get a kind of I do that once in a while, get a sense of, do they belong there or not, if they can't give you the owner's name or the lot number, don't make a deal out of it because the police say you can't. You just call the owner or call the police, something ain't right, the sheriff's department, and, but things have been going good, it's been good in here, and I thank everybody. Thanks, Glenn. Doug, Dan.
The dam looks good. I was down there this morning. It's about an eighth inch above the clamp because of we had 2 3/4 inches of rain. And, well, there's not much other to report, other than we gotta start finding some kind of money. I would say somewhere between maybe 150,000, 175. And to fix the dam. I've already exhausted about everything that I can think of between calling Webb about plugging it. We tried to plug it last time, but we couldn't pump the water down. And I said when we first did the repair 5, 6 years ago, that start saving your money, you're gonna have to fix it. So here I have I think 10 copies of Jim Tiffany and Sons, he's the engineer that finally came out after 3 or 4 months of trying to get somebody, and he does live over by Traverse City. Here's what he proposes, if somebody would like to read it, or take it with them. If you want more if I don't have enough copies, call me on the phone and I'll get you one. But, I mean, he does this for a living. He wants, I think, somewhere between 25 or 30,000 to run the job, which means he's gonna put down boreholes in it to take samples of the soil. What he asked, how far the sheeting's gotta go down. He's talking about sheeting on both sides, on the top side, and then filling it with concrete, and then on the bottom side. The last time, when he was out here, he found another leak underneath the dam, which nobody knew about before. But the sooner the better, cause it's gonna, inflation, the cost is gonna keep coming up. Yeah, it might last another 10, 15 years, but sooner or later, it's gotta get fixed. And I'm pretty concerned about the wall on this side and the spillway, that it's moving in a little bit, probably from the ice in the winter. Maybe we can stick an iron up in there or something to fix that. I got some angle iron. But we got a committee, there's 4 of us, and really, save your pop cans and your beer cans, I guess. But, so we gotta figure out somehow of financing this thing. I'm sure it's gonna take 3-4 years to even to get a good start. Now, there's talk about, Jamie gave me stuff about the grant for the dam from the state of Michigan, and I didn't call him, but Jim he told me before, he said, you're wasting your time. He said, the state doesn't want dams, they want everything free. But that's the headwaters of Comstock Creek, and it does go into Hubbard Lake, so maybe there's a chance there, but, wish in one hand and do what you do in the other, and see which one gets full. So, that's about all I got.
Thanks, Doug. Well, good, we're at a good point. Go ahead, Jamie.
All right, do I give the numbers too, or just?
Yeah.
Yeah, give the numbers.
We had 19 for Bruce, 17 for Dawn,
There's 2 of them.
15
There's
for
a
Randy,
proposal and-
17 for Phil, 19 for Dan, 9 for Todd, 7 for John, and 7 for Andy. So that means Bruce, Dawn, Randy, Phil, and Dan are the 5 positions. Randy's is the 1 year. Todd, you're the first runner-up, so if somebody steps down, you're on the board.
Let me check in. Bruce, Dawn, Randy, Phil,
Dan.
and Dan. Got it.
Can you give the numbers again,
And
please?
who was the 1 year? I'm sorry,
Randy.
Randy.
Bruce had 19, Dawn had 17, Randy had 15, Phil had 17, Dan had 19, Todd had 9, John had 7, and Andy had 7.
Anything else from elections? Okay.
At this time, I'm gonna be asked to be excused, medical reasons.
Yep, I don't have an objection, I don't think I need board action on that, do I, Dawn?
And then I
I'm
also
sorry.
wanna put in to let you know, I will continue the roads if you guys want me.
Okay,
I did give Sherry my numbers that I need for my road budget. And, I would also volunteer if nobody wants the position as vice president. Okay,
thank you.
thank you. And that feels so good.
Lakes, Roy,
Take it easy, Dawn.
need some help on?
No, I can get it. Thank you, Dawn.
Sorry, Roy.
I'll come back and get the coffee. The lake has had 2 chemical treatments, one in June and one in July. We are due one more treatment, probably early September, for lilies. It also had a muck treatment
right after the, July, chemical treatment. And I've got, one more muck treatment that we can put in. We actually have two more, because it was a late start this year with respect to budgets and everything. I recommend that we hold the one muck treatment to start it early next year and go from there. The muck treatment seems to have helped down by the beach and the launch area, so I think that's really working. And that's all I have right now. That's where we are. We are maintaining the contract with Savin through 2023.
Two.
Okay.
Thank you for stepping in for Roger, I appreciate it, thanks for helping out some. Newsletter, Nan, okay, I'll come back to her. Parks, Jamie, you still here?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
The only thing I really have for parks is the picnic is August 22nd at 1 o'clock. Hope to see everybody there.
Yeah, providing we're not chained in our houses. August 22nd?
Yeah. Bring a dish to pass.
Yep, bring your dish to pass, bring your chairs, bring your drinks, bring your yard games.
Wild, masks optional. Wildlife, I'm sorry, who's on?
Michael's wildlife. You want me to speak for you?
I think he's helping with the wheelchair.
No, he's right
Oh,
here.
he's right there.
Sorry, you can stand and be recognized.
Getting prepared for the restock. Finally got a hold of the DNR for the permit, and contacted where we've been purchasing the fish. I think it was 2015 was the last year that we had stocked. So we're gonna kinda stick with what was put in.
Okay.
We've got like 5 different years of the same fish that were put in for feeders.
Yeah, in talking to the guy, he suggested that we do, feeder fish, type fish, no predators. Because the pike that we're catching, the heads are large, their bodies are small, and that's a sign of not enough feed. So he's suggesting that we keep with bluegill, flathead, or fathead minnows, and crappie.
So we're gonna be sending out for a check for that, try to get it scheduled for between September and October. Then we'll put the date out there so that those who wanna come out, watch that happen, then we'll post that.
On our Facebook page that I have, the Facebook group I have, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the number of bears that we were having a problem with around here. Vicki Clifford actually had them get in her house.
Oh.
So best suggestion, keep all food products cleaned up. Don't leave anything for them to get into. Because this same bear has been hanging around our house. Jerry McDill has had a couple sightings and had him tear into stuff. His neighbor across the road, they tore into their garbage in the back of their truck. It's the same bear. So it knows there's a food source, so keep that stuff cleaned up to help keep the bears from getting in your house.
Was the door secured?
It got through the window.
Oh.
It climbed up
Screened
on
in
the
porch.
railing
porch,
and
yeah.
went through the screen window. And then when her son came out, because he thought somebody was getting into his vehicle, the bear exited the house through the door.
Needs to know which way to
It
win.
came in her house 2 days in a row.
2?
Yep, came back again.
Okay,
Like people.
I'm going to go for old business. Is there any old business, Gail?
Is there old business? No, there was just the new stuff we had on.
Okay.
Man?
Get
Yeah.
Nan, please. I'm sorry, I got one last report and then we can get on to the new business. I'm sorry, Gail, I forgot to add one thing to new business I wanna add on the, bylaw change. Sorry about that. Okay, Nan, you're up for the newsletter.
Sorry.
That's
This better be
okay.
good.
I didn't mean to be tardy. Anyways, newsletter. As everybody knows, we put out a, postcard in the spring announcing that weren't having meetings. And then when we decided to have the new meeting, the next meeting, the board and committee members were fantastic about getting the, articles into me so we could, turn it around real fast to get it out in time for, the notification for everybody to be able to be here. Hopefully, unfortunately, we're still getting some returns on, unmailable, pieces, so if you could just make sure that we have your correct address, that way we can make sure that they all make it to where they need to go.
You know who the address was of the person that was unmailable, so we know the lot number of the person that,
I put the lot number on every piece now in order to be able to track it easier.
okay. I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure, cause we're trying to clean up the, we don't know who owns what.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know there probably has been some, that, have not been updated because their leases changed of hands and that sort of thing too. So, but I only got a handful back this time.
Are any of them the, foreclosure properties, bankruptcy properties, all those pending, some of them?
I don't know which ones are the foreclosures and
Sure, yes, yes.
Sherry has a list.
I'll get with her after.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, you'll get with Sherry afterwards and we'll clean that up. Okay, good.
But all in all, and we'll probably put another one out in the fall.
Mhm. Gonna have to have one out before the September meeting. When that
Before
gets set.
September, okay.
Because of the general membership
Oh,
meeting.
yeah, because of the
How
membership.
long do you need on that again?
Pardon?
How long do you need? 5 weeks?
Yeah, approximately 5 weeks.
So 5 weeks from today, we can actually probably go 6 or 7, cause it's gonna go into mid-September.
And the September meeting.
Yeah,
Next meeting, next
yeah,
meeting.
which,
Okay,
if that's what we decide.
so are we still planning on doing a total of 3, for this year, or does a postcard count as one?
Discuss it at the budget
We
meeting.
can discuss that at the budget meeting.
Okay,
Thank you. Anything else, man?
no,
Okay. I'm sorry, Gail, I need some help here.
Meeting.
Under new business, it says nominations for board officers and committee members.
Yeah,
Do we do that at the next meeting?
you could do the budget meeting.
At the budget meeting, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay, so I'd like to postpone that for
That was
that.
mainly for the election.
Okay.
We did.
Okay, Linda, you've got the, fix the dam committee thing you wanted to talk about. Give you 5 minutes on that.
Yeah, thank you, Doug, for everything that you do for that dam, keeping our lake intact, first of all.
There's nothing left to do now.
Oh, we appreciate it, let me tell you. After talking to some family members, we've been up here about 45+ years, I was baptized in that lake. We don't wanna lose our lake, and I'm concerned about the fact that we are going to lose this lake. It's not if, it's when. And the dam is gonna have to be fixed. It's gonna be very costly, we all know that. I am willing to help figure out how we can do this, whether it's bake sales or cookie sales, or everybody y'all come down here and drink your soda and your pop and your pop and beer, and you keep them in there, we collect them, we return them, we keep a tally, and we keep track, or donations. Yes, anything that we could come up with. We could have this is another suggestion, some of you, I don't, it doesn't matter, people wanted to, add additional, $50 a month, I'm gonna donate to the dam committee, or anything helps. right now, because of what happened with the dams down there in Midland and all of that, the DNR and the state are gonna be very reluctant to give us any money. And I did speak to, somebody who does assist with the dams, and they said that if we asked to have the dam fixed by the DNR or anything, we probably will not get it fixed. And we may have to lose our lake, sacrifice our lake. And that's concerning, because we're gonna lose our lakefront property value, we're gonna end up with just like a creek that's gonna run through here. So I'm open to suggestions and ideas on how we can fix the dam and save the lake, so that we and our children and their children can enjoy this beautiful area that we have. And Doug, I wanted to ask you, you said that 20 or 30,000, what was that for?
Right here, explains everything. So I still got about 7 or 8 of them left.
I'll take one too, Doug.
Was this just for consultation,
Wait a
or was
minute,
this
you
to
get 2 of them.
fix?
Okay, at this point, I guess I just wanna ask, so what is it that you are proposing?
If we could form with Doug, if Doug is willing to continue, if we could form, Fix the Dam, Save the Lake committee, where we could work on fundraising, donations, that kind of stuff, and work to see if we could get this money. My question is this final amount right there, is that all he needs to fix the dam?
Okay, we can.
No, that's for him to run the job and put it out for bid, if you read everything.
Okay.
Okay, I guess then, at this point, what I would suggest, and I'm just, that would be something that, when we elect, thank you, losing everything here, my mind going next. What I'm suggesting is at the budget meeting, which follows this one, if you would get with Doug, I wouldn't mind seeing that set up underneath, because we have a dam committee. So if if Doug is willing to, I mean, that's Doug's committee. If this is the way he wants to go, then that would fall under his purview, because if Doug wanted to do a fundraiser or something for the dam himself, I think that would be permissible. If I'm not mistaken, anybody here that used to be on the board, I think that would be allowable. So,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
any member.
I'm just not
in
gonna
this
open
degree
up
can do that.
a new committee. Yes, Doug?
Okay. Maybe I should have read this. This is what the engineer says. Lump sum fee based on the following schedule. Field work, $6,450. Primary design, $5,000. Permit processes, $1,250. Final design, $2,625. Construction engineering, and then he goes on to, he'll make 4 or 5 trips. He said he would, well, that's a lot of paper, like I said, anybody, but that's just, I mean, the guy lives over by Traverse City. He's not from Lansing like a bunch of them, money chasers. I don't know what else, you need somebody with an engineering degree. I mean, this is what the man does for a living. And that's what he wants. I think it comes up to be close to $20,000 to run and put it out for bids. That's not paying for the permits, that's not, nothing except find somebody and put it out for bids and find out how much it's gonna be, and then he would oversee the job and make sure it's done right.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Anything else, Melinda, or is that?
Yes, I have a question. So if we wanted to fix the dam, do we have to collectively get the money together, collect it, and then use engineering to do it?
What?
To use an engineer, a civil engineer, an engineer to fix the dam? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just said, that's just his part to design it, to make sure it's done right, and to his final design, and then put it out for people that drive piling and fix dams,
So, yeah,
seawalls.
basically, this is all just paying for the engineering to do the
Right, yeah.
project.
He wants
That
20.
answers your question, right?
Yes,
Okay, and
Yes.
we can do that at the budget meeting, which is
Yeah,
right after this.
anybody wanna read this, please come and get them.
Okay, moving on. You got dogs on beach, can you kinda clue me in here, Gail? I'm
Well, we
sorry.
had a long discussion about it, and Melinda brought it up as a board issue, that needs just to be, I think, review the process of leash laws, et cetera, what's responsible on the leash.
Okay,
For the dogs,
yeah.
with the issues we've been having.
Well, basically, if she says just basically, this is on here to remind everybody about the dogs on the beach.
Yeah,
There
you're
are
right.
no dogs permitted on the beach, as far as I know, in Lakes and the Greens, there's a sign saying so. They are required to be on beaches, they're required to be on leashes, and I think we're gonna have discussion as to maybe whether or not dogs will be allowed on the beach, I know
Well, we
that
brought
was
it up,
brought
it went on a ballot in 2011, back there, related to the Good Neighbor Guidelines, and it was, and dogs on the beach and all that jazz was brought up at that time, and it was defeated by the membership. So we talked about at the last meeting, potentially, is it something that should be brought up as a vote to the membership at our next in the May meeting of next year, something that's gonna have to be talked about during board meetings and whatnot through the winter.
Okay. All right, with that being said, I think we've, oh, I'm sorry,
Your bylaw change.
bylaw, thank you, I forgot to put that on, but I'm putting it on. Deb, you came up with this, correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to speak, what is the change that you're proposing?
All I'm proposing is just putting in writing that a financial statement be available at every meeting for the taking, and then that the treasurer would submit the, financial statements to the, newsletter editor and just put it, financial statement in the newsletter every time it goes out.
Okay, has there been a reason why we haven't been doing that?
I don't do financial statements.
I think there's a reason why we don't put it in the newsletter anymore.
Because it hasn't been approved and it's gotta be approved before we don't put it in there for security reasons.
Yeah.
Security reasons is why we don't put it in there, but we will,
Well, I used to do it all the time, there wasn't an issue then,
okay.
so what's?
Anyways, you've got this, so what I guess we're gonna need to do is I'm gonna hand this over to Jamie. Because, well, no, I'm gonna hand this over to you.
You're gonna give it to me right now as the bylaws chairman still until.
Oh, I'm
after the
sorry,
meeting.
right, but the signatures need to be validated because the rule is for getting 10 signatures, they have to be current paid dues members, I believe, as far
Good
as
standing.
good standing.
Good standing.
So, and if that's the case, then this will be brought up next year,
May meeting.
May meeting at the general membership, because we'll have
Was
to.
it the September meeting, the general
No,
meeting?
Nope.
because our bylaws state it would be,
No elections in September.
that's
No,
not an
that's
election
for the
issue.
board members, you
Stop, please, I'll read you the bylaw.
wait, didn't she have 5 minutes to speak?
Well,
She did, are you,
Well, I mean, I mean, we're answering a question to
Yeah,
let you
that's
know,
fine.
because
Yeah,
we're not
I-
getting rid of it.
Yeah, I
We're
know, I
just,
yeah,
we're
that's
just
fine.
telling you that, yeah, we'll accept it, the signatures have to be validated. And from that point, it goes on to the, general membership meeting
Okay.
next year.
okay,
That's,
Okay, I'd like to,
she wants to hear the bylaw. Okay, so it's under 7, bylaws committee. Bylaws committee shall review bylaws annually as written and make recommendations as necessary to the board. Recommendations, suggestions, motions, etc. that are received in writing from any member in good standing shall be brought before the bylaws committee, reviewed, presented preferably in person, and by the member making the proposal or by the bylaws chairman if needed. Submitted bylaw change proposals shall be prepared for ballot and presented to the general membership meeting in May for discussion and vote.
okay, I just remembered the general membership meeting,
No.
and I know that September is a general membership
so
meeting.
I'm telling you, we have
That's fine.
received it,
No,
it's,
I just, that's,
okay?
That verbiage, Deb, was changed, gosh, a little bit ago, not that long ago, if I remember.
Last May.
Last May.
Yeah, last May.
okay. Thank you.
I had an extra copy for
Me
me,
and Dan took that.
so you can keep that for now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're good.
Let's see. So, having all that said, we have hit public comment, 3 minutes again, one person, one comment.
Oh, can I, just one more question, that's all.
Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay, you can't put it in the newsletter, but can you send one out then to everybody? Email or mail, so we all
Well, you
can
can,
see,
you
'cause some
can,
people don't
can you
show up.
request it?
Hey,
I'm just,
Oh, well, I'm checking. Sherry?
oh, thank you, okay, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
9 times out of 10, I have them available, right? Now,
yeah, but I'm talking about the
Well,
people.
just
yes,
let her
so,
finish.
okay, right, okay, so they're available here, so I would not, I have no issues with sending them, if somebody were to request them, I could send them, through email. Or if they'd rather me, mail it to them, I'm okay with that. Whatever we wanna do,
I
I'm
think
okay
this
with
needs,
whatever.
this guy has, I'm sorry, as the bylaws chairman, I'm gonna tell you, this needs to go as a proposal
I
to
was
the
just
membership
asking
for
a
vote.
question if we can't, that's all.
Well, no, and
Oh,
she's not giving you an answer, so.
So this part of it, whether we include it or not, has to be voted upon first.
I'm gonna say
But
something.
financials are always available after, once they're approved at the table. Anyway,
That's not
here.
what was being discussed,
I understand.
Sherry and
Well,
Deb.
a second now.
I'm just
No,
saying,
I'm
this
just
topic
talking
is
about
being
the people
discussed.
who were wanting them, that don't come to the meetings. How could they,
Yeah, go ahead. I recognize.
So, let's say, let's just say Andy didn't come to the meeting, let's just say, but he said, oh, I'd like a copy. You could let me know, and I could,
okay,
It's always been that way.
Thank you, Sherry.
no, it hasn't.
It has been.
I put them in the newsletter and I put them out in the, oh, no, it always has.
You put it in,
Blue line.
very abbreviated.
Okay. Public comment, same rules as first, 3 minutes to talk, everybody has 3 minutes. You need to be recognized, name and lot number, sir.
Augustine, lot 170B. I have a question. What is HOA? Where did that come from? 30 years ago, when we came up here, the very first meeting I went to, they had the attorney investigate the bylaws. It was my understanding you could have a property owners association, but not a homeowners association. I got a home here. I don't live here all the time, so what's the deal? Who can answer that?
I can tell you that talking.
And we'll, come see us after the meeting, we'll answer your question, but this is just public comment right now.
Okay.
All right? Hang on a second. We set my timer. Sherry, you're next, go.
Can I talk about what we already said? I did that publicly.
Anything, public comment, go ahead.
Sherry Palmer, 269. So as far as the financials, I'm willing to do whatever the board says that we can do, because, if somebody wants it, I'm not keeping it, because I don't want you to have it. I want everybody to have it. If they want it, I want it to be, transparent, that we all know what the numbers are, what you're paying for, where your money's going. So just whatever we decide, I'm gonna do that. Second thing is, for the, going back to the fix the dam thing, I know this is just public comment, but I have a question. Can we send a letter to everybody asking tell them what the problem is with the dam? Can we, send a donation in to this address and we'll deposit it accordingly and keep it in the bank under dam fund or whatever? That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
That's it, you done?
They've done that before.
Okay.
On other projects.
Okay, anybody else with public comment? Go ahead, Doug.
Public comment about the dogs on the beach and the sign that on the leash and whatever. My son was down here and the guy, that's my granddaughter, And the guy asked if he's got the dog down on the beach, if he could take it off the leash. Well, and my son said, I didn't know what to do. I said, I said, well, it's not really up to you. People can't read. It says right on the sign over there. People, the stop sign says S-T-O-P. Nobody stops. They blow right through it. So people's gonna have to start, standing up, I guess.
Okay, anybody else?
Right here, Bill
Second.
Fargo, I'm on lot 19. Is ever taking that? I wanna talk about the dam too. Nobody's mentioned anything about financing. I think this is one of the, besides roads, it's one of the most important things to our association. We've gotta have this lake.
Fire
It's one of the major reasons why we've all invested here, and we bring our families here, and we live here. It sounds like we need a new construction. And this is not gonna be taken care of by pop bottles, and, it might help, and it's a good idea. But a 20 or 30-year note would be more appropriate.
Right.
And an assessment to all lot owners. I don't know how everyone feels about that, but how do you feel about losing the lake? We gotta have this lake. If the lake's not here, I'm probably selling. I'm selling. And we locate somewhere else where, we can enjoy, more benefits, something that's similar. And right now, this is a bargain. I opposed the rate increase last year, but that's still a bargain too. But, I think, and we should maybe be looking to find one firm to handle the whole process. I don't know who it is right now. You got that guy.
And then,
Yeah, but he's
you
not
got
gonna
one
handle
of these?
construction, we need a
This is
construction
just public
company,
comments.
a firm, to
You
handle
have-
the entire thing.
Do you have one of these?
No, can I have that?
Yeah, you sure can. This is what he proposes.
Here, I just want,
No,
Oh, there's a whole
there's
thing,
two
yeah.
of them.
Okay, any other public, are you finished, sir?
That's good enough, I think that everyone should be considering that. And how we're gonna pay for it, I'm not sure, but it needs to be taken care of, not in a do it in a basis where we do some this year, some next year. We have to address it properly, and it wouldn't be that much if it was handled like a bond proposal, where we could, you'd just be assessed, and it'd be separate from our $200 that we pay. I'm done.
Okay.
Gary, got one more comment.
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
The only unfortunate thing about this is I gotta reset it every time. Mr. Gill, you were next.
Okay, I was just gonna let
Get a lot number.
Jonathan Gill, lot 239. I was just gonna let everybody know that, the board is the lowest form of government, and I think everybody would agree we all want a transparent government. Every time I've asked for anything of importance, bank statements, any kind of financials, voting records, they told me I needed a lawyer to request from them, which they're a nonprofit, so it should all be public. The last meeting, they said we were also gonna address the complaints, but, as far as I know, they just skimmed right over it. I know there's more complaints, cause I filed 5 myself on businesses that have been here 10, 15, 20 years. But they decided not to even talk about those, but they went out on a limb and talked about my complaint last meeting. So I don't know why they're treating my complaint different than the other complaints.
Yep.
So, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Hang on one second, Doug. Go ahead, Doug.
One thing I should have added, they're gonna have to get a permit to drain the lake at least down 4 foot to the bottom of the spillway. or maybe even more, cause there's quite a bit of silt there. I know that's what the engineer's gonna do with his test hole.
Thank you.
They did that in the early 90s.
John Roberts, lot 22. Several years ago when I first got on the board, we had a gentleman in the association by the name of Jim Trevino, who was very knowledgeable about the dam and in the lakes. And when he was in charge of the dam at the last meeting, I believe he was the dam chairman, the estimate he had, and this was 2006 area, at that time was about $300,000 to repair the dam. This is 17, 15 years later. You know that number's gone up. We're looking easily, probably, guys, at $500,000, and that's probably being conservative. So we're gonna have to get real creative if we wanna save what's behind us right now. And it's not gonna be a simple job. You're looking at probably a 1-year project, depending on weather, for the winter months. So when we start brainstorming this, keep all of that in mind, and chances are that roadway over there will be closed. So that means the back way around here is gonna have to be really well maintained, because that's gonna be your only form of egress and ingress for the back part of the association. That also means we have to let the local authorities know, fire department, rescue, law enforcement, because that's normally the primary route they come in. Just putting it out there, that's what we're looking at, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Any other public comment?
Andy Sims, 264. Only other thing there is the DNR permit. We've seen they don't want to issue. Just look down at the lakes, so the dam's failed. They pulled that lake, they pulled the dam down for unsafe measure. AG sued and got it put back up, even though she says that she didn't set the lake level. I mean, you've got to make sure that permit goes through right. I mean, that's the start of it. And you call all day long, you start doing a project on your house, but until you get the permit, you're doing it wrong. So, it needs to start at the permit. So if the calls need to be made to justify what we need to do in order to start the project, that's where it really needs to start.
Any other public comment? With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. The next meeting will be set at the business meeting. Motion to adjourn, please.
Doug had something to say, didn't you, Doug?
Go ahead.
Doug had-
I can answer your question, that's what the engineer is for. He does all that.
Right.
And he told me about piling backed up with concrete, and on the other side, piling backed up with concrete. That's why we're hiring an engineer.
At that point, motion to adjourn. Board member?
I motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Gonna recess 10 minutes. If you've got any questions you wanna ask anybody, now's the time to.
I wish I had another one of them papers that.
Doug, I'll send that.
Oh, that's. Oh, it might, it might have been, yeah. There you go.
Hey, Doug.
Huh? Oh, no, well, Paul and Jamie, and I forgot who the other was, we got 3 of us, yeah, but no, I can need one. We'll figure out something, raffles and donations, and then put 3 or 4 people's name on the account, so nobody runs off with the money.
They can come out from the existing dam wall. Come out, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Believe me, I've been telling them for 5 or 7 years, you gotta fix it. Now I finally got everybody to catch it.
Association as a whole.
We are listed as a POA.
You know, every time somebody asks a question, somebody wrote all these bylaws, and I question why they say the association members don't have a vote. They said that's why.
We can stagger on both sides here.
Board only. I questioned that, that's how it was written down. And in fact, I questioned it too much, I got on the board. I said I got it on the board.
We don't have a vote.
No. He's got it, I think that's gonna have to stay on.
So to answer
That little clamp, if you look down to the right, we got to set that there, so the property owner. You get more than an inch of rain, then you should be 4 or 5 we did it all, and put it back in. Right now, it's still, we got 3/4 to 7 inches of rain. Come up about 5/8 or so, it's bare, it's now going back out.
Hey, Dan? Dan! Are you on or off? Are you on or off?
Oopsie. Hit the button.